So Charles is a 50-year-old man with 3 children. He grew up as the oldest boy of a large Korean family. His father was a typical authoritarian head of the house, and his mother had a strong character. There were times when Charles was beaten by his drunk father. However, he received special love from his mother as her favorite child, and from his 2 older sisters. He did well in school, had many friends, and went to a recognized university. He quickly settled into a job and married his college sweetheart. He became a devoted and affectionate father to his children because he didn't want to become like his father. Charles seems to be a passionate, extroverted, and convivial man at first. However, people who know him says that he has been losing the spark for life for many years. He talked about his life going downhill since he was in the 40s. He talks about death and lives as if preparing for death. He feels like everything is meaningless. Charles has many health problems, but he aggravates his conditions by putting on more weight, smoking, and living a sedentary lifestyle. He has trouble controlling his appetite and outbursts of negative emotions, which he usually expresses through aggressive language and demands. His daily life is largely unstructured, but in regards to cleanliness, he has almost perfectionist standards. He and his wife have been business partners since he started his private business, but he avoids from taking many responsibilities and relies on his wife to deal with them. He withdraws from reality by sleeping, smoking, or watching movies. Sigmund Freud's psychoanalytic theory rests on the premise that the human mind can be divided into 3 different parts, which serve as the playing field where psychic processes occur. They are the id, ego, and superego. Id operates on the pleasure principle, ego operates on the reality principle, and superego can be referred to as the conscious. A healthy psychological functioning of a human being, then, is dependent on the strength of the ego. Pathology could result in 2 ways: fixation and harmful defense mechanisms. According to Freud, personality develops through 5 psychosexual stages during childhood. Charles's personality could be explained in terms of anal, oral, and phallic fixation. His uncontrolled appetite, smoking, and ever-increasing dependence on his wife could be explained by oral fixation. Because Charles was his mom's favorite son, she might have given excessive amount of satisfaction to baby Charles, therefore creating such behaviors above. Charles' need for cleanliness, fear of losing control, and disorganized disposition are characteristics of anal fixation, which could be the result of traumatic toilet training experiences. Charles's adult personality also displays evidence of phallic fixation. At the phallic stage of development, boys go through the Oedipus complex, where a child desires its opposite sex parent sexually. They, however, develop castration anxiety, a fear that the powerful father would discover their desires and cut off their penises. At the face of this insurmountable opponent, boys overcome the conflict by repressing their desires and identifying with their fathers. Phallic fixation could also be a part of the reason why Charles has trouble tolerating less than perfect performances of his employees. The second possible cause of maladaptive psychological functioning is the uses of harmful defense mechanisms. This automatic defense process is also protective towards other forms of anxiety, and it is necessary for healthy mental health. But defense mechanisms can be unhealthy if it's misused. As we previously saw how Charles has the habit of withdrawing from stressful situations and depending on his wife to handle them, it may be surmised that withdrawal is a defense mechanism that his ego uses. Because certain social situations provoke impulses that are unacceptable to Charles' superego, he habitually avoids or takes flight from them. Another prominent defense in Charles seems to be denial, which involves actively refusing to accept something despite all evidence to the contrary. When reminded of the numerous health warnings from doctors, Charles acknowledged the statistically proven danger that he is in. But, however, in daily life, Charles appears to be oblivious to the reality. He seems to be actively denying the idea of death and having health problems. An alternative explanation to self-destructive behavior could be found in what Freud called thanatos, or the death instinct. Charles more frequently relies on the two that are most prominent, which is withdrawal and denial. And psychoanalysts would encourage Charles to seek psychoanalytic therapy to help replace his insufficient and harmful defense mechanisms with more effective ones, such as sublimation. Sublimation would allow Charles to channel the impulse to socially acceptable actions. Psychoanalysis will also seek to strengthen his ego, functioning by releasing the fixated libido in his oral, anal, and phallic stages.